There is a loneliness that is louder than any crowd. It's the silence on the other end of the phone when you share a truth that no one understands. It's the subtle shift in a loved one's eyes when your new boundaries create an invisible wall. It's the slow, painful realization that the path you are now walking, you seem to be walking entirely by yourself. You started this journey to find yourself, to become more authentic. You did the hard shadow work, you faced your fears, but you never expected that the price of finding your own truth would be this profound sense of isolation. It's a cruel paradox. For the first time, you feel more yourself than ever before, and yet you have never felt more alone. This experience can be so painful, so disorienting, that it can make you question everything. It can make you wonder if you should turn back, put the mask back on, and rejoin the familiar comfort of the tribe. But what if this loneliness is not a sign that you are lost? What if it is the clearest sign that you are finally found? The great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung taught that the journey to wholeness, the path he called individuation, is not a journey into the crowd. It is a journey away from it. It requires a courageous separation from the collective mindset in order to finally hear the unique song of your own soul. This loneliness you feel is not a failure. It is a rite of passage. It is the silence required to finally hear your own voice. It is the sacred space where you learn to become your own sanctuary. Today, we are not going to try to cure this loneliness. We are going to learn to understand it, to honor it, and to discover the immense power and deep self-connection that can only be found on the other side of it. To understand this sacred loneliness, we first need to understand the world we are separating from. Human beings are tribal creatures. Our survival has always depended on belonging to a group. From our earliest moments, we learn the unwritten rules, the shared beliefs, and the acceptable behaviors of our tribe, our family, our community, our culture. Carl Jung had a term for this invisible, powerful force. He called it the collective consciousness. Think of it as a kind of psychic atmosphere that we all breathe. It's the collection of shoulds and should-nots that govern our lives. You should be successful. You should be a good parent. You shouldn't be too loud, too different, too much. For most of our lives, we operate within this collective consciousness without even realizing it. We adopt its values as our own. We follow its map. And as long as we stay on the well-paved roads of the collective, we feel a sense of belonging. We are understood. We are not alone. But then you start your journey inward. You begin your shadow work. You start questioning the shoulds. You start listening to your own inner compass instead of the collective map. You start making choices based not on what is expected, but on what feels true to you. And this is an act of rebellion. Not a loud, aggressive rebellion, but a quiet, profound one. You are, in essence, declaring your independence from the tribe. You are choosing to become an individual. This is the journey of individuation that Carl Jung described as the central task of the second half of life. It is the process of becoming who you were always meant to be, separate from the collective identity that was projected onto you, and the tribe does not like it when one of its members leaves. Let's imagine a woman named Maria, a 42-year-old lawyer. For years, she was the responsible one in her family.
She hosted every holiday, managed her parents' finances, and was the emotional rock for her siblings. This role gave her a clear identity within her family tribe. She was needed. She belonged. But through her inner work, Maria realized this role was suffocating her. Her shadow work revealed a deep yearning for her own creative life, for spontaneity, for freedom. So she began to make small changes. She decided not to host Thanksgiving, suggesting a potluck instead. She told her brother she couldn't listen to his work problems that evening because she needed time for herself. These were small, reasonable boundaries. But to her family, it was an earthquake. Her mother called worried. "Is something wrong, honey? You're not acting like yourself." Her brother was offended. "I guess you're too busy for me now." They didn't see her actions as healthy self-care. They saw it as a rejection, a betrayal of the role she had always played. Suddenly, the conversations felt strained. There were long, awkward silences where easy chatter used to be. Maria felt a chasm opening up between herself and the people she loved most. They were still speaking the same language, but they no longer understood each other. She felt profoundly, painfully alone. What Maria experienced is the natural immune response of the collective. When an individual begins to differentiate, the tribe perceives it as a threat to its stability. The group's unconscious goal is to maintain homeostasis, to keep everyone in their designated roles. So it tries to pull the straying member back in. It does this through guilt. "You're being selfish." Through concern. "We're worried about you. You've changed." Through passive aggression or even outright ostracism. The loneliness you feel is the direct result of this psychic pressure. You are standing in the space between two worlds. The old world of the collective, which no longer fits but feels familiar and safe, and the new world of your own truth, which feels authentic but terrifyingly solitary. Carl Jung knew this path intimately. He wrote, "The way of individuation is a path of loneliness." He understood that to find one's own unique connection to the self, to the divine, one must be willing to withstand the discomfort of being misunderstood by the collective. You are no longer playing by the same rules. You are operating from a different source code. While others are making decisions based on external approval and societal shoulds, you are learning to make decisions based on the quiet resonance of your own soul. This will inevitably create a gap, and this gap is where your loneliness lives. It is a holy, albeit painful space. It is the wilderness you must cross to get from the land of belonging to the land of becoming. The temptation, like for Maria, is to see this loneliness as a sign of failure, to believe that you have done something wrong, to rush back to the tribe, apologize, and put the mask back on. But that path does not lead to connection. It leads to a different, more corrosive kind of isolation. And that is the critical distinction we must now explore.
The corrosive kind of isolation. This is the critical distinction we must make. for it holds the key to navigating this difficult terrain. The loneliness you feel on the path of individuation is not the same as the isolation you felt while wearing the mask. They may seem similar on the surface. Both involve a sense of being separate. But their energetic signatures, their impact on your soul, are worlds apart. Let's first look at the state you are leaving behind. Let's call it the suffering of inauthenticity. This is the feeling of being fundamentally alone, even when you are in a room full of people. It is the isolation of the soul. It happens when you are constantly censoring yourself, editing your thoughts, and suppressing your true feelings to fit in. You are physically present, but your true self is nowhere to be found. It is locked away in the shadow. You smile when you want to cry. You agree when you want to object. You stay silent when your soul wants to scream. Each of these small, daily acts of self-betrayal creates a tiny fissure within you. Over time, these fissures add up, creating a vast internal chasm between the person you present to the world and the person you truly are. This creates a profound spiritual isolation. No one can truly see you because you are not truly showing yourself. No one can truly connect with you because the you they are connecting with is a carefully constructed persona. You are a ghost in your own life. This kind of isolation is heavy. It is draining. It feels like a slow poison. It is the loneliness that comes from being a stranger to yourself. It is the suffering that comes from abandoning your own soul for the sake of belonging. Now, let's look at the feeling you are currently experiencing. It is not suffering. It is pain. And there is a world of difference. Let's call this the pain of authenticity. This is the loneliness that arises when you begin to close that internal chasm, when you start to align your outer actions with your inner truth. It is the loneliness that comes from no longer betraying yourself. This pain is clean. It is acute. It is the sharp, sometimes searing pain of growth. It is the pain a lobster feels when it sheds its old, tight shell to grow a new, larger one. During that time, it is intensely vulnerable. It must hide itself away. It is alone. But this solitude is necessary for its expansion. The old shell was not just a home, it was a prison, and the pain of shedding it is the price of freedom. The pain of authenticity is the ache of your world realigning to your new truth. It is the discomfort of friendships changing, of family dynamics shifting, of no longer fitting into the neat little box people had for you. It hurts, yes, but it is a pain with a purpose. It is a generative pain. The suffering of inauthenticity is a dead end. It only leads to more resentment, more exhaustion, more self-abandonment. The pain of authenticity is a doorway. It is leading you toward a deeper, more profound connection, first with yourself and eventually with others who can meet the real you. Carl Jung understood that this period of solitude was not just a byproduct of the journey, but an essential tool for it. He called it a time for the dialogue with the self. It is in this solitude that you finally have the quiet space to hear what your own soul has been trying to tell you for years. It is here that you can begin the deep work of shadow work without the constant noise and expectations of the collective. You begin to untangle your own thoughts from the thoughts of others. You begin to identify your own true values, not the values you were told you should have. You begin to build a relationship with the parts of you that were exiled. Your anger, your creativity, your wildness. This solitude becomes a sanctuary, a sacred workshop. It is here that you learn to become your own source of validation.
You learn to trust your own inner compass, even when it points in a direction no one else understands. You learn to be your own companion, your own comforter, your own best friend. This is the great alchemy of the spiritual path. You learn that the antidote to the fear of being left alone by others is never, ever leave yourself alone again. You are moving from a state of external dependency to a state of internal sovereignty. This is the hardest, bravest, and most important work you will ever do, and it requires you to reevaluate your definition of connection. For so long, connection meant pleasing others, fitting in, being understood by the tribe. Now you are learning a new definition. True connection is not about being liked for the mask you wear. It is about being respected for the truth you embody. And that kind of connection can only be built on a foundation of unshakable self-connection. A foundation that is being forged right now in the holy fire of your solitude.
Forging a foundation of unshakable self-connection. This is the task at hand. It is the work that transforms the painful wilderness of loneliness into a sacred inner sanctuary. So, how do we begin to build this sanctuary? How do we furnish this inner home so that it becomes a place of refuge and strength, rather than a place of exile? We do it through a conscious, dedicated practice. A practice of turning inwards, especially when the pull to seek validation outwards is strongest. This is the heart of practical shadow work. I want to offer you a specific exercise, a daily ritual you can begin today. Let's call it an appointment with your solitude. For just 10 minutes a day, I want you to schedule a meeting, the most important meeting of your day, a meeting with yourself. Find a space where you will not be disturbed. This is crucial. Turn off your phone. Close the door. This is your protected time. Sit comfortably. You can close your eyes if you wish, and simply be. At first, your mind will race. The ego will panic. It will flood you with to-do lists, with worries, with the urgent need to be doing something else. This is normal. Don't fight it. Simply observe the panic, like watching clouds pass in the sky. Then, gently bring your awareness into your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Take a few deep, slow breaths. Now, place a hand over your heart. And I want you to ask yourself, with genuine, compassionate curiosity, 2 simple questions. The first question is, what am I feeling right beneath the surface, right now? Don't search for a profound answer. Just listen for the first word that comes. Is it sadness? Is it anxiety? Is it a flicker of anger? Is it just tired? Whatever it is, give it a name. Ah, there is sadness here. By naming the feeling, you are not becoming the feeling. You're becoming the loving witness to it. You are creating a space between you and the emotion. You are bringing the unconscious into the conscious light, which is the very definition of Carl Jung's work. You are telling that part of your shadow, I see you. You are allowed to be here. Then, after a few moments of sitting with that feeling, you ask the second question. What does this feeling need from me right now? Again, listen for the simplest, most immediate answer, not a grand solution, just a small, gentle act of care. Perhaps the sadness needs a moment of stillness, a single deep breath. Perhaps the anxiety needs the reassurance of you saying to yourself, I am safe in this moment. Perhaps the anger
needs the simple acknowledgement of, yes, that was unfair. Perhaps the tiredness just needs permission to exist without judgment. This practice is incredibly profound. You are learning to self-soothe. You are learning to parent your own inner world. You are becoming the compassionate caregiver you may not have had as a child. You are proving to your nervous system on a cellular level that you will not abandon yourself. Each time you keep this appointment, you are laying another stone in the foundation of your inner sanctuary. You are building a home inside yourself that is so strong, so safe, and so welcoming that the validation of the outside world starts to become less of a necessity and more of a pleasant but non-essential bonus. You begin to realize that you are not truly alone in your solitude. You are in communion. You are in a deep, ongoing dialogue with yourself, with the wisest, most authentic part of your being. This is the source of true inner strength. It is not a loud, aggressive strength. It is a quiet, resilient power. It is the strength of the ancient tree whose deepest roots are hidden from sight, holding it firm through any storm. As you build this inner home, your relationship with the outer world begins to change in a surprising way. Because you are no longer desperate for connection, you become more magnetic. Because you are no longer seeking validation, you become more authentic and trustworthy. Because you are no longer afraid of being alone, you can engage with others from a place of freedom, not fear. You will start to find your new tribe, not a tribe based on shared social masks, but on a shared soul values. Other individuals who are also walking their own path. And the connection you feel with them will be deeper and more resonant than anything you have ever known. But it all begins here, in this quiet room, in this solitude. It begins with the courageous choice to turn away from the noise of the world and to listen to the sacred silence within. It begins with the radical act of choosing to befriend yourself.
And so, we discover a profound truth. The journey to finding your true tribe begins by learning to be truly alone. We started this conversation in the cold space of isolation, feeling misunderstood and left behind. We learned that this loneliness is not a mistake, but a necessary and sacred part of the path of individuation that Carl Jung described. It is the wilderness one must cross to leave the collective and find the self. We learned to differentiate the corrosive suffering of inauthenticity from the clean, generative pain of living your truth. And most importantly, we learned that the antidote to loneliness is not to seek connection from others, but to cultivate it within, to build an inner sanctuary through the practice of conscious, compassionate self-communion. This path of shadow work is not about rejecting the world. It is about building an inner foundation so strong that you can engage with the world from a place of wholeness, not neediness. It is about learning that you can be your own greatest companion. This is where your true power lies. As you continue this practice, a new question may begin to surface. You are learning to be with yourself, to honor your truth, to listen to your inner world. But what about the outer world? How do you present this new, more authentic self to others? Why does it feel so hard to take off the old mask, even when you know it's suffocating you? What is this persona that Carl Jung spoke of, and why are we so afraid to let it go? This fear of being seen, truly seen, in all your authentic complexity, is the next great threshold. It is the challenge of bringing the inner work you have done out into the light of your daily life. And that is exactly what we will be exploring in our next video, as we unveil the mystery of why you hide your true self. I invite you to subscribe to continue this journey with us. For now, your work is to continue building your inner sanctuary. I invite you to share in the comments below not your deepest secrets, but a simple reflection. What is one thing you discovered during your appointment with solitude? A feeling you named, a need you heard. By sharing, we bear witness to each other's journeys, and we are reminded that even on this solitary path, our experiences connect us. Remember this as you go forward. The quality of your solitude determines the quality of your connection. Cultivate a rich inner world, and you will attract a world that mirrors that richness back to you. You are not alone. You are simply, finally, learning to be with yourself.